The last few questions I've got are going to be a bit quick fire, and it's more about you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
best player you've played with?
Quick. Best. I when I played here in Southampton, I have had different teams I played with very good players. I have the one I really linked up with here when I played here was Marian Pahas. We linked up both on the pitch and outside the pitch. So he was really good. I like him. And there are more good players. I can pick a lot that I learned a lot from when I was here, and I played in Norway with some very good players. But Marian Pahas, I love playing with Marian. He was fantastic to play with.
What was Matt Lettice like to play with?
Matt was kind of. You could see Matt had all the skills in the world, and you could. I loved playing with Matt as well. And when unfortunately I came when the last bit of Matt's career and the end of his career, when he had a few injuries and he wasn't really fit. When he played a couple of games and we played a 4-3-3 and I had him on the pitch, when he had the ball, you could just make runs and he would put you in. His accuracy on the ball was unbelievable, and I only seen what he could do when he played it before my time in Southampton, and so I never got the great Matty Tizia that everyone knows. But he had his skill, but he wasn't fit. He was injured, and he was in his end of his days. I think he quit too early. I think he could have gone on and been a little bit more determined. So I never got the best of him, if you like. But I saw what he had. We could have free kick sessions where the team that was playing the next day, and we had free kicks, and he could ruin that session because he scored on every free kick he took. So you got to see those bits of him.
Best player you've played against?
Oh God, good question, George. In the Premier League, I think I would put it on Thierry Henry, because that was his period when he was unbelievable when I was in. I think I could pick a few more from that Arsenal team who were fantastic. You got a Man United team as well, which was fantastic. You had Ronaldo was still playing, was there as well when I played. But I think Thierry Henry was by far one of the best players I played against in the Premier League. Okay. He was fantastic to watch.
I think that's not a bad shot. I think he's probably one of the best players to ever play in the Premier League.
I think so
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Best goal you scored, or favourite goal you scored. Doesn't have to be. It might have meant a lot in a game, or it might have been a screamer.
This goal meant a lot because I had a very good relationship with John Gorman and Glenn Hoddle when they were here, because it was Glenn Hoddle's last game. We played against Everton at home. For the Saints, that's probably my best goal by a mile. I got the ball. Normally it comes up on my birthdays.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
So that is probably one of my, by far for Saints, the best goal I've scored here with Southampton. And then I've picked some goals from my other teams. I scored no goals when I used to play in Oslo with Lynn, and I scored a lot of goals with Molde. So. And I had a few good ones there, but I think that one, because the occasion, we knew probably that one might have been Hoddle's last game, and it took us 5th, I think, in the league.
Oh, okay.
And we were like 3 or 4 points away from Champions League spot on that game, on that win, and we were the unformed, one of the unformed teams in the Premier League at that time, and. Had he stayed, what would have happened in terms of the position we ended up, because we lost a couple of games after he left. So that meant a lot because I had a good relationship with John Gorman and Glenn Hoddle.
Biggest game you've played in?
Biggest game?
And it definitely wasn't when you played me. We draw 4-4. What was it, last 2 seasons ago? Can you remember that game? Can you remember that game? I gave away the penalty and you scored. I gave away that penalty.
Thank you for that, George.
And then we went up there and equalised a couple of minutes later. I tried to give you the win.
Yeah, no, that was a big game. Every game means the same thing. I think the biggest game in terms of what it meant, and I think that we went with Molde when I played for Molde before I came to Saints. We qualified to the Champions League, and we drew 0-0 at home against Mallorca, and we had to go to Mallorca and get a result, and we did. And for a small club as Molde was at that time to get to the group play stages of Champions League, city with only 22,000 people, fantastic stadium, an owner that were unbelievable. A group of players, young, very hungry players, which not overpaid players, but very good group of players that gelled fantastically, could come from nothing and qualify for the group stages in the Champions League. The feeling we had in the dressing room afterwards were unreal. That was just the biggest day of that club and for most of our players in there. And we managed to do something no one believed we could do.
Who did you play in the group stages then after? Who did you get?
Yeah, we had Porto, Olympiacos, and Real Madrid.
Oh my. Who played for Real Madrid at the time?
I think that's the year Porto won it, actually.
Oh, was that when Mourinho was the manager?
Yeah, when he was there. Yeah, I'm a little bit unsure, but no, they didn't. Sorry, I think Real Madrid managed to go through and win it in the end.
Oh, okay.
Look it up.
Who played for Real Madrid at that time? Can you remember the players?
Roberto Carlos.
Oh wow.
I had a good night with Roberto Carlos that day. I was man of the match in the home game. I played centre half at Bernabeu because I had injury. I used to play a lot of positions. And me and Roberto Carlos were picked up for doping control afterwards. So we had a whole night with a few beers waiting to wee. So it was interesting because he didn't speak any English. I didn't speak any Spanish or Portuguese, but we seemed to understand each other as we went on in the night.
that is one of the best stories. So you and Roberto Carlos waiting to wee in a doping test. that is brilliant. So I was going to ask.
And we lost that game 1-0, but we absolutely played Real Madrid off the park that night. I seen the game afterwards, and how we didn't win it.
Wow.
I don't know. We were a little bit young in the team. We were a little bit. We went in the team to attack. We weren't afraid of anyone. So we were a little bit stupid. We said we don't care who we play against, away or home or away. We could just go for it, and we went for it. And what you get with these big teams is that they will be outplayed, but they get one chance and they score.
Okay, that's fair enough. The next question: best stadium you've played at? So you can't say the Dell, obviously, because that's the best. But other than that, the best stadium.
You know what? Let me say this about the Dell. The atmosphere at the Dell were unbelievable. I cannot. 15,000 people and the pressure the teams had when they played it because people were so close to you. But unreal. I have to say it. I really enjoyed it. And the best thing with it was the pitch. The pitch was the best football grass pitch you could play on. I could not believe it how good it was. Running on it, just playing football on it was just fantastic. And the atmosphere as well, with having the first 5 rows, you can look down at people and you can see their faces, which you don't do on normal stadium. And if you got tackled, you landed up on row 2, and it was just fantastic when people pushed you back up again. So if I can't say it that well, it links me to kind of Highbury. I loved Highbury as a football pitch because it was similar to the Dell, and the old-fashioned football pitches, they were amazing. The craziest atmosphere I ever had. I think was away to Sunderland. The fans at Sunderland, they were unbelievable as well. And they were just crazy. They were just absolutely crazy. So that was an experience, my first time up there. But if I'm going to pick a pitch, if I can't pick my home pitch, because I would.
Well, I was only half joking, because I thought, you said the Bernabeu there. I was half joking. I didn't think you'd actually want to pick the Dell.
But the Bernabeu was just weird, because you came to the pitch and we almost got to train the day before we played them. And we trained and we thought, God's sake, the pitch is really small, because the stadium was just straight up. There was so many floors. And you thought, this is just a small pitch. This is going to be, that's why they're good. They just got a tiny pitch they can control. But the pitch was massive. And when you started playing on it, you realized how big it was. And that's when you realized why they were so good there, because they got a lot more space. But the vision of the pitch was just, you didn't realize how big it was, because the stadium was so big. So it gave a false pretension, and you don't see the people there, you don't see the crowd, they're just almost hanging over you. So it was just a bit weird when you played there. So because playing at the Dell, it was absolutely fantastic. Only 15,000 people, because you had them so tight in your face when you played. It was just fantastic. It's just the feeling when you played it. And when you walked down from the dressing rooms, you had to walk down a long staircase. And that building up there was just a very flimsy building, and that's how it felt, because it used to rock before you walk down the staircase, and the noise level up there. And I think a lot of times the games were won in that 5 minutes it took before we came out on the pitch before the game.
So I was actually going to ask the best atmosphere, but I assume it's going to be the Dell or the Sunderland one, is it?
Yeah. The crowd at the Dell was fantastic. It was just unbelievable. It did never sound like 15,000 people. It sounded like 500,000 people there when you played, and that was just amazing.
Okay. Most proud moment. It could be in football, obviously, because I imagine your kids would be up there. But
in football. Most proud moment. Oh God.
Everyone said this. When I asked this to everyone, they all panic, and they were like, I don't know, I can't think of anything.
No, I'm not panicking, but there's a few things which are pretty personal in a way, which made it special on that day, which I never forget, and that made you proud in a way that where you belonged, and I don't know what to say really.
Well, while you think, I'll say something. So when I can remember, we beat Leicester 2-0 at home, and you scored 2, and it wasn't a great game, but you took a penalty that game, because I don't think Beattie wasn't playing, and James Beattie always used to take penalties, because he always used to do his run up where he'd walk back and then run and take it. Yeah. And I can remember my dad put me on the chair, and as you scored, everyone obviously jumped up and celebrated, and the chair collapsed beneath me, and I've still got the scar on my leg now from when you scored that goal. So thanks for that.
I'm sorry about that.
I can remember.
It's hard to say. There's a few moments which I remember through.
Would it be signing your first pro contract? Would it be...
No.
Is it a game in particular, a moment in particular? What about playing for Norway or...
Yeah, that was a very proud moment, playing... Because I had my debut on my birthday as well. So I have the... You got like a little... you got caps. We have something else in Norway, but it's on my birthday, so it's my debut. And I played a really good game, and unfortunately I seem to be injured every time I went on my national duties. I'm picked probably 30, 40 times, but I only managed 9 games, and I seem to lose out on a lot of games where I was injured when I went there, and it seemed to be the only time I got injuries. I should have been with the national team a lot earlier than when I got picked. It didn't bother me at the time. But I got my debut against, I think, Northern Ireland. We won 4-1, I think. I can't remember the score, but I had a really good game, and it was on my birthday. But I got into football, and that was a proud moment. So that counts. But there are things I remember from football which are more personal than sometimes you.
No, that makes sense. Got a couple more. This one's a weird one and might be slightly more difficult to answer. What's your lowest point? So if you've had your proudest point, what was your lowest point for football? What was the moment you enjoyed the least?
Turn it around that way. God, I kind of have enjoyed most of the things I've done. There have been situations where you haven't been happy, but that's part of football. That's part of the game. At times you wanted to play more. I was very disappointed for the cup final because I was by far the on-form player in our team, and a lot of the other players weren't in form. And I didn't get to start, and I felt like I should have started that game, purely because a lot of players weren't in form that time, and I was in really good shape. We played after, not 6-1, but I scored, and I had a really good game, and I always seemed to score against Arsenal, and being in form and that kind of relationship that I didn't get to start really with the manager and when he picks the team, but I felt like I should have started that game, and that disappointed me, but that's football. There are times when things goes against you, but that's just how it is sometimes. When you play 5 or 6 years like I did for Southampton, have 8 different managers, you are going to end up with someone that isn't in your favour. So, but that's football. That's part of the challenge, which I like. I've been disrespected a couple of times. That hasn't been nice. There's been like 1 or 2 managers there that disrespected me, and you can say it's part of the game, but I don't like that. I never liked that because I think you should treat people with respect, and sometimes you need to be honest with people and tell them what they think. And I have had a few managers that hasn't done that. I've had some managers that, I had a manager who came after the season and said almost apologised and said for how he's treated me and that you have done really well for me considering how I treated you, and without bringing any names, but that's disappointing because I always think fair. I always treat it with respect. So that is kind of the most in terms of disappointing moment. That's the moments I would bring out. But that's football. That's part of the game.
Okay. So next one word answer on this one: Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
I'm a Ronaldo fan, but I'll let you have that. I think now for all of us is the time to stop the comparison, even though I've just made you compare them, and just enjoy that we can watch them at the same time. But I'm a Ronaldo fan, but I'll let you have that one. But best player ever, best footballer ever.
Messi.
Again, Messi. Okay, fair enough. I thought you were going to go Maradona. I thought you'd have said Maradona would have been close. Okay, best Norwegian footballer ever.
Best Ronny Olsen.
Okay, why him?
Because he hasn't got the recognition that he should have. He was an unbelievable football player. He played in a lot of positions. He went to Man United, where they won in '99, and when he was part of that, I think it was there in '99. But he won the league. He won the Champions League with them, and he came there. He could play centre half. He could play midfield, and he never had a bad game. He's an underrated player, which started as a striker, which I was fortunate to play with when I started my football career. He's been to Turkey, he's been to different clubs, and he's always been a good player. And he's a little bit underrated in terms of my eyes. And he's up there with another good mate, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I put Ronnie Johnson up there because level he played on when he played, and the way his speed and his vision and where he could play and adapt to things, which was unbelievable.
Okay. So 2 more questions and that's it. Favourite manager you played under?
In England, definitely Glenn Hoddle. He is by far the best manager I had down there because of his tactical skills, his way of training, and his football vision, and how he wanted to play football, which was how I liked to play football.
And then finally, a manager you wished you played under?
Oh, good. That is a good one. I think I would love to play under Pep Guardiola.
Okay. Any reason in particular, or do you just like the way he
no,
coaches?
because he seems, again, more because I like the way he plays football. He doesn't limit himself to one way of playing. He players to do different things, like he's done now with the right and left back. They're now coming in almost as holding midfield players at times in games, and that he sees more solutions, and he believes in football, and he believes in that players are able to solve situations by being willing to do other things than just run up and down and be a straightforward right and left back or a right winger or things like that. That he sees that you can do more than one thing. That you can be a winger, that you are just a winger, like Morris, who is a left-footed right winger, and that's his role, that's the way he plays, and he's willing to push you and willing to make you be a better football player than you think you are.
So whose position are you taking in that team?
I would play midfield.
Okay.
Like De Bruyne, I would play like an offensive midfield player.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's it.
De Bruyne is on the bench.